Hello and welcome back to Cracking On With The Sun. I am today joined by Lucy because Flick is sadly lying in a dark room just recovering from last night's heart rate challenge after seeing Tom in those tiny pants. She just needed a day off to recover.
Yeah.
So how are you, Lucy?
I'm really good, thanks.
Did you enjoy last night?
It was a good episode. It was a really good episode. I think it's what everyone was kind of expecting.
A lot of drama.
A lot of drama, and I feel like today's going to bring loads more drama.
Yes, I've got a couple of spoilers for you for later on in the podcast, and I'll tell you exactly what goes on tonight. Last night we saw all the girls transform into these kind of sexy cowgirls, Playboy bunnies, and then you saw the boys. They were American footballers, cowboys, sexy devils, and spacemen. I think that was the one that really I thought, but why? Like the spaceman. And it was the way that we had Toby dressed in this costume. Georgia Steele losing her mind, thinking he's genuinely like the best looking guy in the world. Like he's so sexy, he's so fit. I was like, he's literally wrapped in tinfoil. Why are you finding this attractive? It was really odd. But I liked his dance moves. I actually love the difference between the girls and the boys because I think you always see the boys like embrace the humour side of it. Maybe more than the girls. I think the girls are a little bit more uptight, obviously, because you would be there in nothing. I mean, they're literally in this tiny little thong dancing around. It's unreal, isn't it?
I know. I say this every time I watch it. I'm like, I don't know how they do it. Like, it's so much. All of them has so much confidence, and they all really worked it. And like I've said to so many people, I just don't know what I would do. They really, really good.
Detective Devlin is on the case actually about the music being played into the villa, because I think you can see that they're not dancing to the music that we're hearing, but there must be music in the villa. I've
not noticed that.
So I'll get back to you tomorrow on it for final info. But I've been asking the questions to all my villa spies because I need to know that. I need to know they're not going out to complete silence. Like that cannot be the case. But it definitely doesn't sync up to the music that's we're hearing on the show. So who impressed you the most? Let's go through. Should we give our top rated boy, top rated girl?
Yeah, let's do that.
Who do you think?
For humour, I quite liked Anton. I thought he was I think he's my favourite in there. Like, I really like him. I think he's come across really well, and then I think the mouth spray at the end was quite good. It gave a bit of it was really funny. And
he rated himself very highly as well, which I think you've got to do in life.
You've got confidence.
Exactly. And he was just like, he came out of it saying, wow, that was good. Like, that was, how are they going to beat that? I thought, God,
he's so funny.
Honestly, he cracks me up so much. And the girl, who do you think?
I thought they were all really good. Amazing. They all did so well. Maybe Georgia Steele. I thought she had a lot of confidence, and you could just tell that she was really working it, and she quite enjoyed it as well.
Absolutely, yes. Completely agree with that. I think Georgia Steele was the one who was maybe naturally sort of the most confident. She went out there. She was wearing that kind of bunny outfit, wasn't she?
Yeah, she looked really good.
My God, her bottom that was an insane bottom.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there eating pizza thinking, really need to get to the gym. That was, it has those moments in life and you think, oh no, I should not be doing this right now. Anyway, that's for another day. And I think that she also kind of, she was reveling in it. And I think that's kind of what links back to sort of what later on in the show, when the results are coming in, how she was very competitive. She wanted to win. She wanted to all these guys for their heart rates to go up for her, didn't she? Whereas with the other girls, they were just enjoying it. Like Sophie, I bloody love Sophie.
Same.
She's such a nice girl, and I did criticize her at the beginning of this podcast, but I hold my hands up. I really like her and Josh as a couple, and I think that she brings a bit more of a natural flair. She laughs at herself. She laughs at other people. She just looks like she's really enjoying every moment instead of being uptight and worrying about what she looks like. Even though she still looked incredible, but she just looked like she was having fun with it, didn't she?
Yeah, I agree. Sophie's really grown on me as well. She's really grown on me, and I think she brings that kind of like bouncy energy. Like, she's just really happy, and it's nice. She doesn't take herself too seriously, I think.
Yeah.
But still looked insane and worked what she was doing, and definitely impressed Josh with her moves.
And she is good at stirring the pot, which I'll have more on that later for you. My top rated guy, I don't think this will be a surprise to any listener, is Tom Clare. I mean, he's just something else, isn't he? He comes strutting out, 6'10" or whatever he is, you know. He's like the tallest guy
Your
I've ever
smile
seen.
is so big.
I love him so much. He comes out in these tiny little pants as this devil. I thought, is this what devils look like? Because I'm going to go to hell if so. I'm more than happy. I couldn't believe it when he strutted out. And I think he kind of enjoyed it, but at the same time was like very sexy with it. You know, he wasn't one of the ones fooling around like maybe Toby or Josh. I was surprised by Josh not being more confident. But is that because he's not done it before? Because they didn't do that in the first series?
Potentially. Because actually when I was watching it, I thought he would have given a bit of sex appeal, but he just kind of... what did he even do?
Because he said it before, he was like, I'm dreading it. And I thought, it's strange because he is such a confident guy, he comes across cocky, confident. So yeah, that was a funny one, but I think it was great that it ended with the results of Sophie and Josh having raised each other's heart rates the most, showing how strong they are, because they had a little bit of a dip recently because of the public vote sort of showing that they were maybe the least, one of the least compatible in there. And everyone was really shocked in the villa because they seemed to be one of the strongest. So that maybe gave them a bit of a confidence boost. There was a lot of trouble though in the results because we had Molly and Callum. I think I could do this podcast solely just about Molly and Callum, and talk about no one else and fill the half an hour. I'm obsessed with their relationship.
There is a lot to talk about and a lot
from
to
last night.
There's
actually quite a lot to go through.
Yeah.
So we'll stick with the challenge at the moment. So you had the whole them. I think everyone's expecting their heart rates to be for each other. I don't know if it's a fix. A lot of people have suggested that, that's how you're going to get the drama, is that if you fix these certain results. But if they've been together and they're conscious that they're going to raise their heart rate, that will make it go up in itself.
I think that, definitely. If they've been together for 3 years, they were in love, so I can't see what.
They maybe did some hanky panky during that 3 years, so that's maybe a little bit familiar.
Definitely, I think so. Yeah.
But I do think it's more their anticipation. Genuinely, I think it's everyone looking and them going, "Oh God, don't be excited by this," and your heart rate will then start to change, against your will. I think it must be so pressurized.
And they've got Tom and who's Callum partner?
Jess.
Yeah, they've got them to think about as well.
I'm so glad, no offence to Eve, but I'm so glad that Eve has gone just one of the twins, that I can know who it is, but I still hadn't got my head around, which is so bad, but I just couldn't. They're both so similar.
They do look very, very similar.
Yeah. So we saw, Molly and Callum right at the end, what I loved about them was them just like sharing this little smile, the fact that they're kind of looking over each other and thinking, still got it. That wasn't it so cute? Tom's face, however, like thunder.
Not happy. Don't think I'd be happy, to be honest.
I know, especially when you look like that and you still haven't got her heart racing.
Fuming.
What more can he possibly do?
He can't do anything.
Mine would have been, I've been stretchered off. I wouldn't be able to cope with it. Whereas Molly's still fixated on Callum, and we're going to see a lot of fallout from that later. I think I also want to bring up the fact that there's this new phrase that's kind of floating around. I don't know if you've noticed it. So every single time that we have a series, sometimes it's very forced. People go in there with this agenda where they want to be the person who's created this catchphrase of the series. Have you noticed anything this time around? It's not been as much. It's not been as pressurized for long.
I can't really say I have. There's always been one ever, like Georgia Steele, for example. She kind of said the loyal babes thing, and
one that inspired the name of this podcast, Cracking On.
Yeah.
But I've heard a few times now, and it's said quite a lot tonight. It's not deep. Like, let's not deep it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the way that they say it. I'm like, that's kind of your own spin on it.
Yeah.
Stop deeping it.
I quite like it.
Yeah, they're just
I like it.
So I think it just basically means like don't get too. It's not too heavy. It's not. It's not that big a deal. Just chill out. And I think that comes from Molly mainly.
Yeah, she has said that a lot.
Yeah. And she was like the highlight for me in last night's show. I think she's always the highlight for me. I think she's my favourite. And that's why I love her and Tom, because they're both equally my favourites. But there is this Callum thing in the background. And last night we saw them go on a double date, as Flick had revealed yesterday.
Yes.
And we put a TikTok up, and it was so embarrassing. Like, they used the clip of me reacting to Flick, saying this, that they were going on a date. And honestly, it's like the most exaggerated shock face that you could ever imagine. And it's so real. It's just genuinely how I react to everything. It's like, if someone tells you don't react to something, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, did I just make you jump? So they put this on, and there was loads of people saying, yeah, but it wasn't a real date, blah, blah, blah. But, okay, it wasn't the two of them, but they are still merging their ex's world with their new partners, and they chose to cook them breakfast or lunch together. What did you think of that kind of awkward foursome?
They handled it well, and like when they were
flirty, well, didn't they?
Yeah, like it just kind of. It seemed like they were just being like them normal selves, and I guess them probably were like, oh, actually got two other people. But like they did. Do you
think they were disappointed when they turned up? Oh, great, they're here.
It was actually nice to see them prepare the breakfast as well together and actually get on, because when they first came into the villa, it seemed quite awkward and there was a lot of crying, and so it's nice that they've been able to progress, and they seem to be happy with the people that they're with now. So I don't
think they be happier, Lucy? And I think the answer is yes. They could be.
I don't think I'd be able to do that, go on a double date with my ex and another. I just don't think. Well, good for them. I just don't think I'd be able. Would you be able to do it?
No.
I don't know.
No, absolutely not. I liked that their flirtiness in the kitchen and that they're giving it a go, but I just think you could really tell that it was heating up. You know, it was just a real chemistry between them. A lot of people have said that the real reason they did this, because I was thinking, why have you put yourself in this situation? Like, you don't need to. But a lot of people have said online that they think that they were actually trying to set Tom and Jess up. And this was like the opportunity, like the four of them. It's like, actually,
clever.
you guys,
you get on really well.
Because we could actually be together, and you guys could be together. So then no one's on the road and no one's hurt. Which I did love that kind of thing. Other really hilarious things I thought this time around was actually from the night before show, and I'd missed it. I saw it circulating online, and it was Adam's kind of reaction to his kiss with Arabella on the terrace. I don't know if you saw that.
I have seen this, yeah.
Him, like, how would you describe it? Him recoiling and sort of as if he's been holding his breath for about 20 minutes. It was the most bizarre reaction. And he sort of had tears in his eyes, and I was like, what has gone on in that kiss? It was an intense kiss, but I thought, whoa.
He didn't enjoy himself. It didn't look like he enjoyed himself.
But at the same time, it was like saying, oh, that was incredible, and like he really fancies her, and I think you can tell.
Do you think?
Yes.
Do you think?
Okay. I do think.
Okay.
Oh no, you're making me question this. I do think, because I think she comes on stronger.
She does come on, yeah.
Perhaps maybe he's used to. But if you have watched his series 2, again, I'm going to say it, iconic series, my favourite. I do think that he needs maybe a powerful woman to kind of point him in the right direction. This is what we're doing. You know, take the lead. Perhaps they wouldn't have kissed yet. I think it has been down to her to lead the way. Don't you think? She's maybe being the boss, and that's like, it doesn't always need to be the guy that's the boss. She's taking control.
It's good. No, it's good. She should do it. Good for her. I don't know. Was she an easy option because she's single and he's? That's my thought.
That Chris went home though. I think.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it worked out like that. Arabella, for me, is like one of my favourites coming out of this. And even last night, I just thought like the way that she spoke about the guys, even Toby, who it feels like forever ago, but it was only probably last week, where he'd chosen Georgia Steele without talking to Arabella first at that recoupling and left her brokenhearted. And she was so nice last night, so forgiving, kind of complimenting him on his dancing and whatever. If that was me, I'd have been like that was awful, Toby. Like, you know, even if it wasn't, I'd be like, oh, that was really bad. I hated every minute of that.
Me too.
And I'd be holding such a grudge.
Same.
And whereas for her, like, she seems such a forgiving, loving person who kind of thinks, well, the reason that didn't work out is because now I'm with Adam. We were saying yesterday on the podcast that maybe it's a little bit too soon to be kind of having those thoughts, you know, as if like as soon as she saw Adam, it was like, this is the reason why life is complete now. Like, this is me. It felt quite forced, but I don't know. There is a nice chemistry. The way they were flirting in the daybeds, and yeah, I like them together.
We'll have to watch this space and see.
Absolutely. Who's your favourite at the moment in the running as we're getting closer to the final? We've obviously got just less than a week to go.
It's gone so quick. I can't believe it's the final soon.
Yeah, I know. Josh and Sophie for you, maybe?
Josh and Sophie. Yeah, I mean, Anton's my fave, so I like Anton and I love Anton and Georgia. We should
actually mention about Georgia. Georgia Harrison last night chose not to sort of take part in the heart rate challenge. We know that she has been through so much with the revenge porn case with her ex Stephen Bear. He's only recently got out of prison for what he did to her, and she's obviously been through such a traumatic time with that. And her choosing not to do it, still to be involved. And, you know, she dressed up, but it was a bit more covered up. She went over and instead of doing sexy dancing, she blew some rose petals
really
at
sweet,
the boys, and the boys kissed her hand. It was really respectful. And I loved how supportive the Islanders were.
They all were, yeah.
And I loved how she took control of that situation, because what she's been through is, I mean, I can't even imagine how horrific that was for her, for intimate video of her to be shared without her consent, that she hadn't even known had been filmed, and it was put out to the world. For her to reclaim a bit of power, I think is so important, that she felt able to say, I don't want to be sexual in this way. Yes, I want to have fun on Love Island. I want to meet someone. I want to fall in love. But it's not about sex for her, like we saw her in The Hideaway. Do you remember she went in and with Anton, and normally they get into their little they normally get into their little,
I love those
lingerie
pajamas that she has. I love that. Where does she get them from?
Ones, yeah, I know.
Where does she? I need to find them.
Yeah, we need to.
Really
we should be wearing them this week on the pod. I think that would be great. We'd be so comfy.
Imagine walking around in the office. What is she wearing?
Be like, oh, it's all for work. Like, don't worry about it. And I love that she's made these decisions, and that was another one last night. And she's been praised online. Everyone's saying they completely back her. And it's important, isn't it, for these women to go onto the reality shows and sort of have a bit of power, have that the confidence to say, I don't want to do that. I have the option to. And she might well have thought, oh yeah, I'll do it, if she wanted to. And it was just nice to sort of reclaim it.
Yeah, she's done so well, and she's been through a really hard time, and yeah, she owned it, and she claimed it as well. I thought she did really, really well.
It did mean, though, that she didn't raise Anton's heart rate just as much as Molly, because Molly was barely wearing anything. So I feel like I don't blame Anton for that. I'm not really having a go at him. Because,
Georgia also didn't seem that bothered. Like, she was like, she said something like, yeah, she's fit, so I wouldn't really. She says
she
there's really
my heart rate as well. Yeah, but I think Georgia's like that. She just seems to be so chilled about everything. Again, we always say on this podcast, be more Georgia Harrison, zen, happy for everyone else. Even her, like last night, saying to Josh, her ex, who made her upset countless times, and saying I love you as friends. Like, you know, they've moved on from all of that.
They all seem to be really grown up. They've all really.
We need to try and actually follow in their footsteps. They're more grown up than us. So tonight, some spoilers for you.
Oh.
It's very awkward after the challenge, and we could feel that at the end of last night's episode. We could see them all sitting, taking in the results. I think I'd have to be like, right, hang on, can I write this down? Because it's quite a lot of information to take. You want to know who you've raised the most, like, heart rates. I think Molly probably raised the most, and you want to be able to see who was yours? Was it the guy that you were meant to have, been impressing? So that was all getting really awkward, but it builds up in intensity now, and you can see that Tom is fuming. He's kind of starting to worry, like, maybe why is there so much between Molly and Callum there? But Molly kind of turns it on him and says, well, hang on a second, you and Georgia Steele. And I don't think you're going to be surprised to hear that Georgia Steele revels in this opportunity to sort of perhaps gloat a little bit. She managed to get Tom's heart racing more than Molly, and there's a bit of friction. It leads to a big argument, and it also sort of threatens Tom and Molly's relationship. We see her maybe start to question whether he is being genuine, what he's saying to her, or are there conversations going on behind the scenes? And this is where walks in our girl Sophie, who seems to just slightly stir the pot and insinuates that Georgia Steele is still flirting with Tom.
Oh my God.
So even though she's saying that she's obsessed with Toby, and even though everyone seems to have moved on, actually they still have a very flirtatious kind of manner between them. And it sends Molly into a little bit of a spin because she doesn't know whether to be able to trust Tom.
Yeah. I didn't really notice Georgia and Tom. I thought she'd kind of stayed clear of him a little bit. Have you noticed that?
I think they've just shown them both talking, mumbling to each other. I was saying this to my friend I was watching Love Island with last night, that, how boring is it? And you're in a couple like with Tom or Toby, and they just mumble to each other about how much, I'm so happy. And like, but you're not like really acting it. Like, do something. It's just the way they kind of just lie and just sort of talk to each other like that in this really boring monotone voice. And I think, what are you doing? Like, are you actually happy, or is this just a bit of they know the cameras will pick up on this moment? But there must be something we're not seeing, because it does kick off tonight. And our little Georgia Steele's right at the heart of it.
Back at it.
With Sophie just stirring away, and I
Sophie,
bloody love it. Well, she's been at the heart of all of the kind of rows.
She
really.
does, yeah, she does.
She likes to sort of tell everyone what's been said, and I'm kind of up here for it.
But then she doesn't get in trouble for it because everyone loves her, and she's really innocent and sweet. So
she's like, what?
Yeah.
That was my Sophie voice impression, if you didn't realise already. So tomorrow we'll be back to dissect all of this drama, because I do think that we're going to see it all kick off, and potentially just days before the final see a bit of a stir up between all of the couples. So stay tuned for that. But thank you so much for joining us,
Thank
Lucy.
you.
And hopefully Flick will get herself together for tomorrow. Or not, I'm going to bring in some pictures of Tom and put them all out for her to see. Join us every weekday for more Cracking On with the Sun.